Well, hello, this is Dee with Backpack Journeys, and I thought I would give a quick review, if I can do it quickly, of my recent trip on the Amtrak Floridian, um, train number 40 and 41. I did a round trip recently, and I was going to wait till the first of the year when I felt a little bit better and rested, but there's been such a interest in it that I thought I would go ahead and do that now. And so I'm going to do this in several parts. And first is going to be an introduction. Second is going to be an introduction to the Floridian and the pros, cons, and then my summary. So if you're new, welcome. First off, I'll just say, and who am I? What am I doing a review? And I will say that this channel got started because before COVID, for a year and a half, I did take a lot of the long distance trains from Amtrak, and I went over 20,000 miles, which was nice. I got to see the country, but I fell in love with trains all over again. And it seems like even though this channel is about travel, um, inexpensively as possible, it has morphed into more of a train channel. So there you have it. I feel like I know how to give a review based on what I have experienced in the past and what I experience now. I'm on different forums and I read what other people say and their viewpoint. And so there you go. I will have to say also that I did just get back and I've come back with a cold. So I will intermittently probably cough. I can't do anything to stop it. So I apologize in advance. That's going to be an inconvenience. Number two, Floridian. What is the Floridian? The Floridian is basically a Miami to Chicago train that ran back in the 70s. I believe they stopped it in about 1979. And if that's incorrect, feel free to correct me, but it's not that important to this story. But it did run. Then they stopped it. And they started it back in the middle of November. And so there's a lot of interest in it. It's only going to be a temporary train while they work on, from what I'm understanding, while they're working on the bridges and tracks and whatnot around New York City in that general area, because the train is a combination of the Silver Star, which is basically a Miami to New York train, and the train no longer goes to New York, cannot go to New York, so it takes over the tracks of the Capital Limited, which went from, I've taken many times, I've taken both these trains, but Capital Limited more so, from DC to Chicago. So you still go to DC, you still go to basically the same stops in the Capital Limited and the Silver Star, the old trains. Now they are known as the Floridian. If I haven't confused you enough, ask your questions below. I'll be glad to answer them. So now, in the past, if you were going to Chicago, and I've done this plenty of times, I'm in North Carolina, how I had to go to Chicago on a train, the fastest way. There are different ways, but the fastest way would be for me to go to my home in North Carolina to Washington, D.C., would have to get off and either spend the night or have a several-hour layover. And since this channel is about traveling inexpensively, except for one time, I did the layover. And I always rode in coach, which I'm no longer doing. I'm older and I think I just need to lie down once in a while if I'm going long distances. So I would get off in DC for a long hour layover, and then get on the Capital Limited to Chicago. So there's a stop, start, stop, start. Now you don't have to do that. You can stay on the train. The train still goes to DC and stops, and the people going to New York get off there And the people who are going to Chicago still get on there if they live in the area. It's still a lot of the same, I found out, but it's just if you're from south of Washington, D.C. and going north, and if you're vice versa coming back, you just don't have to get off and change trains. That's basically the difference. Except the Capital Limited, I believe, is the Superliner, and they had observation cars, and they're double decker. I call them double deckers, um, except for that because this is a Viewliner, and the Viewliners are the one I call them one story, one level, and no observation car. So that's that. It's the Floridian. The numbers to the trains are 40 going north and 41 going south. If you're really a train buff or you're looking to secure tickets. Now, the pros. It was an interesting ride. I've never done a roomette. I've done the roomette only one time all the way, and that was on the California Zephyr. And I did half the way back on the Empire Builder in a roomette. I did half of it in coach coming back, and then when I got to Minot, North Dakota at 9 o'clock at night, that was bedtime for me, so I got a roomette. I mean, I had it planned to do that. So I got it halfway back. But I got a roomette this time. I took my daughter. We shared one roomette. So yeah, so the pros. The pros are, number one, you don't have to get off and have a layover. You just stay on the train. The second part about it is that it is a nice ride. Again, it's a smaller train. If you like smaller trains and don't like the really long trains, they have a few cars that are, I didn't count them, a few cars that are coach. They have two sleeper cars. And the sleeper cars are totally different. And I've got videos about both of them. One of them, as of this filming, one of them I have online. It's the 10. I call it the last two numbers are 10, and the other two numbers will be 11. And I'll have that done sometime in the next, by New Year's, and show you the difference in the two. The Pro is the 11 I liked better. It was updated. Everything was updated. The cushions were thicker. They had more outlets. They had two more outlets. It did not have the commode, the toilet. It had the sink, but not the toilet in the roomette, which I kind of like better, to be honest. And it seemed to have more updated switches, almost like what you have in your house, which is different from the 10, the regular one, what we're used to having. So the control for the heat was was steadier and more constant and steadier. That's another pro. I think in the future, if I ever ride the train again, I'm going to ask for that car. It would be the 4011 or the 4111, depending on which direction you're going in. Like that one better. Also, what I liked about the Pro is that the has dining car. Don't believe the Silver Star had a dining car. I've ridden that a couple of times, and I used the cafe car. If I'm incorrect, let me know. I know I always went up to DC using the Carolinian, which is a North Carolina-based train, and that does not have a dining car. So it has a nice dining car, nice updated dining car that has traditional dining. Traditional dining is back, and all the food that you expected. I thought it was great. Um, but I'm not high maintenance. I don't go out to eat a whole lot, and when I do, I fix it at home. So it was what I remembered for the dining. So they have the dining. So that's another pro. Um, Another pro is that the crew that have been there a while, with Amtrak for a while, were very friendly. Most everybody was friendly, whether they have or not. Um, been with Amtrak a lot, but the ones who had been seemed to be um, more relaxed and friendlier and more helpful, directly more helpful, have been there for decades, and they were a lot of fun, and they made it a lot of fun. Um, it is a new route. Right now, that's the only thing I can think of that are the major pros to having it. Um, it's not cheap. I'll talk about price a little bit later. Um, the cons are that you need to pack your patience. I tell people, pack your patience. And if you can't pack your patience or have a whole lot of patience on this, maybe don't ride. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe don't ride this train or fly. I'm an Amtrak. I don't fly. I'm not going to fly. I'd rather hitchhike than fly, but that's an option. You have to pack your patience. Now, what do I mean by that? The main thing I mean by pack your patience, two things. One is that this train, which is taking over the Silver Star up to DC from Miami, is notoriously late. Doesn't bother me. You get there when you get there. I'm retired. If you've got to be somewhere at a certain time, this may not be the train for you, quite frankly. It's hit or miss. Going up, we were 3 hours late at one time. Then we're 3 hours late coming back. That had a lot to do with the weather. In the wintertime, we're going up around um, the Great Lakes, the lake effect, the winds were too high for them to go very fast. So I learned that if the winds get up to 60 miles an hour and they have to stop the train. If it's right around 60 miles an hour, they can only go like 20, 25 miles an hour. So that's what happened. Just keep that in mind. It may be late. It's notoriously late. If it's on time, that's a plus. If it's not that late, it's a plus. Get your alerts. You can get alerts through Amtrak.com to have sent to your phone and let you know how late it's going to be. And that's another con. I got my alerts a lot of times after I was at the station. It let me know, gosh, I don't know, the first alert came a long time after I was there. It's going to be late. And the train station didn't have it updated. It said it was on time, but I got on an alert that said it's late, 20 minutes late at that point. But it turned out to be a couple hours late by the time we boarded on a rainy day. So it sent us out to boarding, brought us back, sent us out. The third time was a charm. So just know that may happen. The train, nothing we can do about that. It's just the way it is on this train. Number two is that, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, is that it's a new route, and a lot of the employees that I had contact with, and they were 4 shifts because they changed crew in Washington, D.C. So I went up and I came back. I wanted to take the full experience up and back from Chicago to North Carolina, Chicago. So there were 4 different crews. And those who had not been there that long seemed to kind of not know the rule. I wouldn't say not know the rules, but were stricter in the rules. Like I was told I couldn't walk the train. I need to walk the train. I'm used to walking the train because I retain water in my ankles, and it's not good to be. I was 24 hours on a train and being late like 26 hours on a train. You need to get up and move around. I was told by one attendant to get back to my roomette, and stay in the roomette. Well, that I've never been told that. So that was not my attendant. So I found my attendant and I said, is that the rule? That's what I was told. And he said, no, I've been with Amtrak over 20 years, and no, you can walk around here. You can walk. That's fine. So just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that we do have traditional dining. Um, Most people do eat in their roomettes, I found out. So you may or may not be fed first, really. Um, I took my daughter with me, like I said, and they do seat you sometimes with other people. That's traditionally what happens, but some depends on the crew. If they didn't have many people eating in the dining room, they let us have a table to ourselves. But I remember one time there was a table of four of us, and everybody else got fed, and I was still waiting for my food. And I don't know what happened to my ticket, and had to ask for it. They were ready for dessert, and I had not gotten my main course yet. So there's a lot of confusion I found with the dining people in the dining car. I found out as they were talking, as they were passing, and they were nice. I mean, I'm not saying it's their fault. One was saying that he was having a hard time with the tickets because he was new to that route. And on his other route, the tables were numbered differently. So it was a ticket situation. One mentioned as he ran by that the to-go orders, he had a whole bunch, two handfuls of orders to go to roomettes. He was like, they're killing me. he was he was running trying to get them their food, and people in the dining room were waiting to be fed. I never got anything to drink at all with my salad. That came way later. And they were doing the bless the hearts. That's what we say in the South, bless your heart. They were doing the best they could. But keep that in mind. Like I said, pack your patience. If you don't have patience for that, this is not the train for you. Or wait until they get the bugs kicked out. Maybe next year take the train. Maybe they'll get the bugs worked out, and they'll know what's going on a little bit better and be a little bit more coordinated, and more relaxed for those who are new, because there were a lot of new employees there. And I didn't hold it against them. I wasn't mad. I'm just like, I just want to know what's going on. So that was a con, I thought. I found, I won't say the bumpy ride. I found going up, the ride was extremely bumpy. And I know that the Amtrak has nothing to do with the tracks. And now thinking back, I'm wondering if it has to do with the wind, because we were told on the way back that the lake effect winds were so high. Maybe that has something to do with it going up. But I did notice on a stretch that I was vibrating for hours on end. Never have been on a train that bumpy and that wobbly from side to side. I almost sat in a man's lap in the dining car. I can hold my balance pretty well. It was just like a rowboat in the middle of the ocean in a storm. A few places. Looking back, I'm thinking maybe it was the wind, because we were in high winds a lot of the time. Maybe it was that. Maybe the tracks need working. I've taken those tracks many times. They were not that bumpy, but it's been 5 or 6 years, and a lot can have happened in 5 or 6 years. And like I said, that if it is that is not an Amtrak issue. The freight companies own the tracks. Amtrak does not. But it was not bumpy coming back. We were going slower though because of the wind, so maybe that has something to do with it. So keep that in mind. That could happen, and you could be rocked more than even for experienced Amtrak riders. This is the most I've been rocked, and I've been rocked a few times. So that wasn't fun, because that came about in the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep. So that was kind of a con to it to me. So let's see. I don't want the cons to be longer than the pros. Overall, it was it's a learning curve for everybody. It's a learning curve for the staff, regardless of how long they have been working for Amtrak. So a learning curve for riders, no matter how long they've been riding Amtrak or how far they've gone on Amtrak. Um, so for my wrap up, um, I've been asked, would I have done this again? Would I do it again? Yes, I would do it again. Um, I would go again, knowing what I know. And if I had not gone, would I have still taken the trip? Yes, I would. I wanted to ride. I like to ride trains. I like to ride long distance trains. Would I ride the Floridian again? The only way I would ride the Floridian again is on a short trip. I would not ride it as a long distance train. That's just me. And I've given the reasons why. We only had one smoking stop that I remember, which was Washington, D.C. I think we need more than one. We stayed behind, so they don't usually stop that long. If you stay behind, you just go. I need to be able to walk the train. I've taken Empire Builder, Southwest Chief, California Zephyr, for the three main ones, twice, each one twice. They're longer trains, so there's more to walk up and down. I do like the observation car. I think all long distance trains need an observation car. The cafe car had seats. A lot of the coach riders were in there too, so it stayed kind of full. And it's nice, comfortable as an observation car. They cannot have an observation car on this train. As I say, it's a view liner. It's one floor to get through all the stations where they stop to make the clearance. That's what I'm understanding, to make the clearance. It cannot be a superliner, and so we can't have an observation car. So in that regard, I would take the Floridian again, only on short trips, not 1,000 miles or longer. That's just me. I hear people say on the forums, because people are asking questions, answering questions, and they're like, well, I don't want to ride the train if it's going to be like this. This doesn't sound like fun. Yeah, take the train. I'm not against Amtrak. I love Amtrak. I love the trains. I'm just giving you an honest review about what happened when I wrote it. And it's only been a month. They had only been in existence for a month. As I said, if you're not used to riding, maybe ride a short distance and maybe start on another train. But a short distance works better, I think. And or wait until maybe next year. And all the kinks, they're just trying to get the kinks worked out. Just think about any business that just opens up. You got to get the kinks worked out. I think I take the Amtrak like it's a an amusement park ride. You know, you get a new ride at an amusement park. The first time or two, it's not going to go perfectly. They got to get the kinks worked out and the coordination worked out. I think it's going to do fine. I like the idea of it. On paper, it looks really well. I think if you're younger, you can probably do it perfectly. And I mean younger as in, I would just tell you that I'll be in my mid-70s next month. So 6 years ago, I could do this and coach and no problem. Now it's a problem. You do age. So yeah, that's what I have to say. I do have videos coming up. I do have pictures, a lot of pictures I'm going to go through the first of the year and put them on my Facebook page, which is Backpack Journeys blog. I have the name of that in the description box. Check those out in 2025. And yeah, like, share, subscribe. If you do have questions or any type of tips and you've been on it to help other people, put them in the comment section below. I love reading them as long as they're, um, I say complimentary, not rude. that type thing. So until next time, I have enjoyed going on another long distance train. I enjoyed my trip immensely, and I hope to do more traveling, not as much as I did prior to COVID, but I encourage everybody to get on a train. So until next time, happy rails.